Howdy my friends, welcome back to more Gran Turismo 6 seasonal events. This is Sky Hurricane, and last part we did the ones that expired on July 26th, and now we're moving on to the August 9th ones. And yeah, you know what that means. More drift trials and more super laps. And I've gotten to where I actually like the freaking drift trials better than the super laps, as you'll see in this part here. So in this drift trial event, you'll be limited to race cars built in or before 1999. So it looks like we're on Monza the 80s. The 80s layout of the Monza circuit is fairly narrow, so make sure you keep all four tires on the tarmac. The turns are extra sharp through the chicanes, making it easy to go into them too fast. Even if you have to sacrifice some speed, stay on the racing line. Start out slow, then gradually increase your speed as you develop a rhythm. In terms of car selection, touring cars and rally cars are the easiest to control here. And I'm actually not going to take the game's advice here. I'm actually going to use something that's not a rally car or touring car. And, you know, I said in the last part, this is post-commentary because, well, I had to fail at recording and not record my live commentary when I thought I was the whole time and was talking the whole time and all that good stuff. But it looks like we won the Mitsubishi Starion Rally Car 84, so that's pretty cool. In those two colors, and you know, over 1.3 million credits, so yeah, it's pretty juicy. But what I'm going to use is this Dodge Challenger RT race car 1970, because we had to use something 1999 or earlier. So I could have used this Castro Super GT that I just won, but we'll just go with this. So, and I'm actually going to leave all this in where I'm getting set up for the event and all that good stuff, because I actually did this on the first attempt, y'all. First attempt. Like I said, the drift trial, either I'm getting better at drifting, or I'm getting lucky, or these just really are meant to be easier. I don't know. I don't know if I've gotten any of these on the first attempt before. I don't know. I got really lucky on the last ones too, in the last drift trial sections. But of course, the super laps are going to be a total B. Foreshadowing. But we'll get into that when times come. And I actually forgot to change it to automatic. Usually I like automatic when I'm drifting, but it still worked out fine. But I am going to buy the Comfort Soft because those are better. You know, the Comfort tires are best when you're drifting. And I didn't really want to go with Comfort Hard because this thing really might be uncontrollably. And now if it's a four-wheel drive, I'll probably go with Comfort Hard. And definitely want to increase the max speed. Although I guess it's really not that important if you're drifting. Maybe. Gotta have LSD though. Gotta have that good old stuff. Minimize all this except the braking sensitivity, which I'll increase slightly. And carbon drive shaft. And engine tuning. I think I will do some of the engine tuning though. I think I'm going to leave all the downforce and all that stuff alone. Yeah, let's put a little more power in this. I think that definitely is not going to hurt us though when it comes to this. Alright, so, and since I added more power, let's also widen the gears a little bit more, maybe. Just can't make up my mind, can I? Can't do it. Alright, I think we're ready though. You can see my friends there. I think 4,000 is the gold. So we got to beat 4,000. So good job, Augusto, getting the gold there. And the good old DKC2 remix Bossa Nova music. Gotta love it. Yeah, and actually, even though I got a gold on this first attempt here, I did play around with it for, you know, about 9-10 minutes or something. After getting the gold here, seeing if I could get a higher score, and actually on some attempts I got over 1,500 on that first section there, but I would do the subsequent sections worse, so it didn't really work very well. You probably can hear that thunder in the background. Yeah, this is actually my second time doing post-recording on this, or post-commentary, because yeah, my computer freaking shut off because of a wonderful thunderstorm. Nothing else shut off, just the computer. Whew. man. Yeah, and I actually did get off the road faintly earlier, but it didn't it didn't take off my points. I guess because I just barely got off the road. You know, the car didn't completely get off. And first attempt. It was kind of rusty and kind of sucky, but, you know, I guess whatever works, it worked. It did work. Alright, yeah, 41.83, y'all. I was in such shock that actually worked. I mean, I was in such shock. I did not expect it. And, yeah, 1.4 million credits. Jeez. And we want all that good stuff there. All that good stuff. Alright, so good job, Grand Sport and the X people. And Augusto for all beating me. Y'all are awesome. And they actually use rally cars, interestingly. Although the Lancer 74 rally car was a rear-wheel drive. And I'm sure if I played around with it for a while, I could get a much higher score. Which I'll explain more when I show the replay in just a moment. Some people use Celica GT4. And it looks like the Corvette Stingray Racer. The Corvette race cars were the best. Wow, that Mugen Modal Civic 87. That's surprising. Over 12,000 with that thing. And then number 7 used the same car I did. Interesting. But here's our beautiful Starion. Cool car. Kind of reminds me of the Ford RS200 a little bit. Nice to have this. I like it. So, I will show you the replay. So, replay time. Kind of see more closely, you know, what I did and all the stuff. And see our beautiful car. And isn't that just a beautiful car? Rewind. Yeah, and like I said, definitely could get more on this first section. I mean, I did get over 1,500 on some, you know, attempts where I was playing around after the fact, which is why you saw that cut earlier. I didn't really see any point in showing you my car settings or any of that when I already showed you as I was getting set up for the race. Or the drift, I should say. Now this second one, second little section there's pretty tough, and I did go off there, but I guess I didn't go off enough for them to disqualify my points, so that's good. Now this third section, this is where you really could get a lot of points, I figure. I did pretty good here, but I think if you could keep the car sliding the whole time, I could see you easily getting 2,500 on that. I could even see myself getting 2,500 on that. You know, which would give me a score over 5,000 if I did it enough attempts, you know, and cared enough. But I don't care enough, so we're moving on. And I'll show you this exterior view here, and then we'll move on to the last little thing that we got to do. Yeah, I think I definitely could have done better on that too. I still think I suck at drifting, but I mean, I guess I'm not too bad considering that first attempt on this. I know I've said first attempt like a million times. Y'all probably tired of hearing. I'm just so proud and surprised that I did that, knowing how bad I did. But yeah, definitely went too fast in that. Way too fast. It could have gotten a lot more points though. I could see you if you could slide it better, you know, do it better than that. Yeah, like I said, notice how, yeah, the car kind of stabilized there. If I could have kept it sliding the whole time, I could have gotten much more than what I got. Which you'll see in the next drift trial, I actually did pretty good with the four-wheel drive car that I use. Spoiler alert, I'm going to use the four-wheel drive for the next one. And that is that. Alright, so let's look at this non-race car drift trial with this beautiful Dodge Charger on the front there. an Apricot Hill Raceway. In this drift trial event, you'll be competing in non-race cars with 500 pp or less. This track contains many high-speed scoring sections, so a four-wheel drive car with high power and good stability is recommended for this event. The front to rear drive distribution should be set with a bias toward the rear. This will make it easier to maintain your drifts. Section 3 and 4 will be key in achieving high scores. Consider this to be one long scoring section and maintain your drift. They're both sections for best results. While you swing your drift from Section 3 to Section 4, make sure to keep your speed in check or you'll most likely spin out. Alright, so let's actually take the game's advice on this and let's use a four-wheel drive, but let's look at our things. Gotta have sports hard or less, which, you know, you're gonna want that since you're drifting anyway. And we'll win an Accord Euro R. Hey, that's a car that I don't have at least, and you have to get over 5,000 for this, 5,100. Alright, and this one did take me a few attempts. I think it took me around 10 minutes, around 10 to 12 minutes, something like that. It didn't take very, very long, but it took me a few attempts. I actually did really good on that first section there, but in some of the prior attempts I did even better, believe it or not. But I did much better on that attempt there, on that section there, on this attempt. Yeah, I'm actually using the Mitsubishi Legnum, the four-wheel drive Mitsubishi station wagon. Now, I did really good on this section, but could do a lot better. I want to say on some of the prior teams, on that first corner, I got over 2,000 points. But, hey, we did it, so 5,300, not bad. Yeah, that one took me a little while. 9 to 12 minutes, somewhere in there. Alrighty, so rank 2,202nd. Do good old rattle battle music. And I almost won 1.4 million credits again. Jeez, you do win some heck of money on this. And we won that Accord and those colors as well. Alright, so I'll show you my stuff here. Still use automatic. I use automatic this time, but I'm going to change it back to manual for the race coming up. And car settings. Comfort hard, since this is four-wheel drive. And, you know, my suspension that I used was pretty much the same suspension I would use if I was going to use this car in a race, you know. But your drivetrain is where you really, you know, make the difference for drifting. Because I wouldn't have my drivetrain on 10. When I had the drivetrain on 3090, which is what I normally use this car for, it really did not turn in near as, you know, it didn't drift. It wanted to stay stable. But reducing it to 10, it drifted pretty good. And yeah, all that's that. See all that good stuff there. Car's pretty good for this. I mean, this one didn't take long at all. You know, nothing like these race car these super laps I'm about to do. So yeah, it looks like the cars that beat me were all rear-wheel drive. Shelby GT350. Look at you, Angel of the Fallen. Look at you. Some Sylvias in there. And a Nissan Stagia, which was another wagon, ironically. Was the only other car any of my friends y'all used. So let's see what the leading cars are using. Oh, the tank car. Interesting. Oh, and a Toyota Arista was number 8. That's cool. No tank cars. And a Chevrolet Chevelle. The tank car definitely was the most popular one to use. Oh, I love that Corvette 54. Sweet, man. Beautiful car. Somebody used a Volvo 240 GLT and got over 9,500 points. Gosh, that's funny. And Mini Marcos. I've seen that car before in some of these drift challenges. And it's front wheel drive. So it's amazing. Honda 1300 Coupe. That's front wheel drive as well. That's crazy. Alright, we'll show you the replay and then we'll move on to the first super lap, which I dread. We got our beautiful little wagon there. Yeah, like I said, on some of the prior attempts, I got over 2,000 on that first corner there. The car did kind of manage to stabilize itself on that attempt, but oh well. We ended up still getting it in the end. Like I've said a million times before, I kind of suck at drifting. Even though these make me look like I'm not that bad. Compared to these other people that are getting 12,000 points, yeah, I'm pretty sucky. Do, 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 do. Beautiful Mitsubishi Legnum. Yeah, I have to use that in the open lobby that I'm doing today on Friday the 14th. I don't know when this particular video will be uploaded. Probably on the 21st, maybe. And there's our beautiful Honda Accord Euro R. Beautiful car. I think I'll go with black on this. Beautiful black. I like the blue too, though. Yeah, I'll go with black. Once you go black, you never go back. I'm kidding. Oh gosh, really? All right, race car super lap, 550 pp. And of course, wouldn't you know, it's going to be on a track that I don't really know that well, even though I did do it in my LP. It's been way too long. Matterhorn, Rotenboden. I don't know how you say that. Probably said it wrong. Have to have a racing car, 550 performance points or less. And for winning, you'll win the 458, the Ferrari 458 Italia, and those two colors. Cool colors. But I do already have the Ferrari 458 Italia. But, you know, like I said in the last part, it doesn't ever hurt to have two of the same one, unless it's Gran Turismo 1 or 2 when you have a limit of how many cars you can have in your garage. In this time trial event, you'll be competing in a race car with 550 pp or less. The track features severe elevation changes and many mid to low speed corners. Your car will need to be able to put the power down effectively through the turns, so it suggests you go with a 4-wheel drive car over one with 2-wheel drive. If you do decide to go with 2-wheel drive, make sure it doesn't get tail happy when you apply the throttle. Tuning in the limited slip differential, LSD stronger in the rear toe further in should help. Regardless of what drivetrain you go with, the car will get light when going over crest, so make sure to add enough downforce to keep it on the road. And let's do this. And this is actually my third car trying out on this. This one took me over 30 minutes of fail. First I tried it with the Takata Dome NSX, and the best time that I could get was like a 138. And I feel like I could have done better with the NSX, but ended up just taking it so easy because the car would want to spin out, you know, on so many different junctions. And then I tried the Mazda 6 touring car, which actually was pretty good, pretty easy to control, very stable, and good for this track. But the best time I could get with that was also 138. And I might have been able to get a 137, but I just didn't see any way that I was going to close the 3-second gap. And so I said screw it and chose my Chaparral 2J. You never can go wrong with the 2J, I tell you. And look at this, I'm actually in front of all my friends, which is not too much of a surprise because this 2J is insane, you know. And none of them use the 2J, so shame on me. Yeah, this car is just so stable though. And yes, I am using the driving line. I actually am using automatic as well because I just really suck at this track. You know, really just, you know, I noticed on all of these freaking time trials recently, they're making you do tracks that I don't really know that well, you know. Give me Grand Valley Speedway or Apricot Hill Raceway or Midfield or something like that I actually know. I mean, quit giving me all these weird tracks that were never introduced in the series till this game. Wow, I almost beat it by 4 seconds. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that just sweet? Of course, I kind of feel cheap using this car, but, you know, at this point, after 30 minutes of fail, I really didn't care. I mean, you get to where you don't care about certain things like that when you fail so much. You say, screw it. Man. And over 1.4 million credits again. Look at that. Golly, man. Racking in the dough. And that only leaves us with one more of these after this. And we won the Ferrari 458 Italia in those colors. It's a beautiful track, I gotta say. And I like the track, but I just don't know it, you know. Just don't know it. I guess that's my fault. I should practice some more. Because, heck, I practice Bathurst tons. So maybe I should just practice this track more. I don't know. Well, the one time in my life when I actually am in front of all my friends, but I guess oil pressure probably hadn't done this one yet. Or Osama, I probably hadn't done it yet. Because when they do it, they'll cream me out. But yeah, I had all this stuff on because I suck. But I did have ASM and TCS off. And well, the Chaparral 2J really doesn't need it. And I was surprised this thing could actually get down to 550 performance points because it's just so good, you know. Didn't really do anything to the suspension. Lowered the transmission, considering that I diminished power so much. Yeah, 52% power and pretty much took everything off of it. I did have a turbo kit on it, and I had a ballast maxed for the 600 performance points, ones that I use it for. But, you know, I had to take the turbo off for 550. I don't see this really getting much below 550 because you say I've lessened almost as much as to go. And see what everybody else used. Oh, TSO 30 hybrid, cool. And Opel Calibra, nice choice as well. Subaru, Cusco, and Preza. Nice, all of them got golds. Augusto, I'll give you an honorable mention, my friend. You almost got it. So I think gold. 135 on that. Alright. Well, it's actually 890. I think that's the best ranking that I've ever gotten. And unsurprisingly, look at the car that was most commonly used, because this car is a beast. Yep. I tell you what, there are just certain cars that you can always use for certain things, and well, it'll be easy to win then. This car is one of them. I don't really want to save this replay, but I'm going to show you the replay. Because why not? This car is so amazing. It's too good. Too good. It accelerates so good, you know. I mean, it has long gears, up to 130 mile an hour in gear, you know, second gear. That's pretty crazy. Turns so good. Good old Matterhorn. Yeah, I do remember doing this track in the LP, you know. But the AI was so easy to beat, and it was just a race that I never really redid, you know. I just raced on it, did what I had to do, and then was done. Never really race this one for fun. Unlike Bathurst and the Burgering, which I've done countless hours of extra races on. You know, and thus have gotten good at those tracks. And then, of course, you know, Gran Turismo 1 and 2. Gran Turismo's 1 through 4, I should say. You know, other tracks like High Speed Ring and Midfield Raceway and Apricot Hill, stuff like that. That I'm pretty good at from all the practice in those games. You know, it makes a difference. Good old Mario Party 3 music. And with that, let's move on to the final. Well, let's get our prize car first, which is this beautiful Ferrari. Can't complain about a beautiful Ferrari now, can we? I mean, you can, but why would you want to? No. I like that color. So beautiful. Let's look at these other blues, though. Why not? Oh, they're all so beautiful. It's hard to decide. Yeah, I'll go with this light blue, though. Lewis Disturbed is now offline. Hi there, Lewis Disturbed. Alright, well, that one definitely took the longest. So that one took over 30 minutes. That had to be cut. You know, it took longer than that when you count the successful team. So then, Red Bull Ring. Another track that I don't really know as well. This is a time trial event using two-wheel drive, non-race cars with 550 performance points or less. So that really kind of cuts it down. Has to be two-wheel drive, so you can't use four-wheel drive on this. The Red Bull Ring is a stop-and-go type of circuit that requires you to go from full brakes to full acceleration. Stability during braking and traction is very important, so you'll want to set the LSD stronger and maybe add a rear wing. If you harden the suspension, be careful of riding up on the inside of cornerstones as it can upset the balance of your car while cornering. To improve lap times, set your car and drive carefully to avoid oversteer. So, that 550 or less, and sucky sports hard tires. Wonderful. And we'll win the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. Alright, so, yeah, let me pick something out. Let's do this. And so, this one ended up taking 15 minutes. Or at least 15 minutes they ended up having to be cut. So, yeah, and I'm in my Saleen S7. I thought this car would be pretty good because this is one of my best 550 performance points cars that I got. Have a pretty good tune on it. But this car is a handful with these sucky sports hard tires. It really wants to spin out on these tight corners, which is a no-no. That's not very good. Yeah, you gotta really be careful on those tight corners, you know, and you do want to try to get a good exiting speed for these straights, but man, I just suck so bad. Can't believe I was keeping up with oil pressure as good as I was. So oil pressure did this, and maybe he just didn't want to do a Matterhorn for whatever reason. Good old Sonic 2 music. I love Chemical Blends, huh? My childhood, that and Donkey Kong Country 2 and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. But yeah, this car is pretty good. Good cornering, especially on these aerodynamic corners like this. But it does want to spin if you're not careful, so care is important. Yeah, I know I could have done so much better. Like I said, though, 15 minutes to fail, and I am using the driving line because I just don't know this track. But you know, that being said, this track reminds me of one of the tracks that's in Jarrett and the Bonnie Stock Car Racing. Yeah, we got it by over a second and a half. Reminds me of one of the, either an Australian track in the game or Asia Pacific track, which not Asia Pacific would also include Australia. Either way, it reminds me of a track that's in that game. Was it called A1 Ring or something? Either way, it has a different name. I don't think it's the same track. Surely not. Just looks very similar. And we won that beautiful Aston Martin. Beautiful Aston Martin. Do 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 do. Alrighty, well. Actually, fourth. Halfway in it there. Halfway in it. And first through seventh got a gold, so that's pretty sweet. No, they didn't get a gold, did they? 142 was a gold. Yeah, first through seventh did get a gold. NSX prototype LM Rotar. What makes me think that's the most common car to use on that? Golly, and they got a 133 oil pressure. Dang it. Lamborghini Countach 74. Sweet. Yep, sure enough, that was the most common car to use. What a surprise. And I keep forgetting that car, how good it is. I have that car in my garage, but I don't really ever use it. Perhaps I should use it more often. Perhaps I should do that. I don't know, seems like I did practice with it and I never got a very good time with it. Not on this particular event here, but just, you know, practicing on Bathurst, which is my typical practice track to test out a new car that I buy. Yeah, just show you my settings here. My suspension and transmission there. Drivetrain. And power pretty much really took a lot off this thing, you know. Because I think on stock it had 550 horsepower and it's down to 424. But yeah, that is that. I'll show you the replay here. Our beautiful car in action. I swear this track really does remind me of that A1 ring track in Jarrett Lobato Stock Race. It just really does. May just be me though. I may not know what in the heck I'm talking about. Probably don't, for that matter. I'm not hearing any music. If music's playing at this point or not. It's very quiet, very faint. Red Bull. Red Bull Ring. Pretty sure it was an Australian track. A1 Ring was. I'll tell you what, one track that I just love in Jarrett Lobato Stock Race. My favorite track in that game. I love it. I do like the Mexico City track, but it's not my favorite. It's not near as fun. Surfer's Paradise. That track was so fun. Gosh. And that track never has been in any of the Gran Turismo games. And that was an Australian track. Really, really fun track. And I loved how the AI would always mess up on that track in that game. It's so funny. I mean, I would always totally dominate the AI on that track, unless I myself drove carelessly and, you know, had a lot of wrecks, because there are a lot of opportunities to screw up in that track, for sure. But that's just a beautiful track, and it's just so cool. I mean, like I said, a lot of places to screw up, but that's kind of what makes it fun. I really do want to revisit the game. Perhaps that's another one that I'll redo. Somewhere down the line, maybe. And that game's not really that long either. But yeah. That is that. So I think that's really all I need to show you. So let's check out our prize car that we won. Oh yeah, man, this is an awesome beast. Aston Martin V12 Vantage. Love me some Aston Martins. Beautiful car, beautiful car. Although those lights kind of look weird with some of these colors. I really like this color, Marron Black. It's a unique color. Kind of seems like it has a purplish tint. I like it. Let's go with it. Alright, so show you the specifications on the prize cars we won, and then we'll call this a session. Good old Yoshi's Island remix. Castle music. And it's funny, well, there's just so much you had to show. I mean, these videos are always long. You're at least 35 minutes, you know. So much to show, I guess, because I want to show everything in case you're kind of trying to use this as a walkthrough or whatever, to kind of help you if you're struggling with some of these. But yeah, see the specifications. V12 Vantage and the 458 Italia both have over 500 performance points. Just stock, you know. Very powerful cars, over 500 horsepower each. And the Accord Euro R, it kind of sucks in comparison, but it's pretty peppy too. Over 200 horsepower with that. But y'all, this has been Sky Hurricane. I need to stop. So thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all have a super awesome, blessed day, and stay awesome, my friends. See you for another event soon. Goodbye.